By late 2003, Dime and Vinnie formed Damage Plan, releasing their debut album, Newfound Power, in early 2004.
It was weird for the fans. You know, they wanted Pantera. I mean, you've been serving people Coca-Cola for 200 years, and then all of a sudden you tell them we're changing the flavor and it's now going to be called Diet Right, you know?
Yet even after the brothers put Pantera behind them, Philip continued to serve up salvos in the press. In the December 2004 issue of Metal Hammer, Anselmo was quoted as wishing violence against the guitarist.
I remember Dom going, dude, this ain't funny anymore. This is not funny. What have I ever done to that guy to deserve this other than stand up on stage and kick ass for him?
The comment about Dimebag deserving a beating and whatever the hell. We had finished that damn interview. It was a tongue-in-cheek thing that I said, and it ended up on the cover of the damn magazine.
I've got the audio tapes of Phil in that interview. He said what he said, word for word, in a very calm tone of voice, and he's got to live with that the rest of his life.
After he read that article, Daryl wrote a letter and said, you know, you're in competition with someone that's no longer in your life, you know? And I think the very last thing that it says in it is, no longer will you trample through my peaceful mind. It was for Philip. You know, he was done. He wrote him off. You know, he'd had enough of it.
Dimebag had made his peace with the perils of Pantera, but his contentment would be short-lived. On December 8, 2004, Damage Plan was wrapping up a 2-month club tour at the Alrosa Villa in Columbus, Ohio. But the gig would quickly turn tragic. 10 seconds into the set, 25-year-old ex-Marine Nathan Gale stormed the stage, brandishing a 9mm pistol.
I just screamed as loud as I could, and bam, bam, bam.
I just remember screaming, he's shooting something, and Vinnie came off the drum riser, and he's coming at me, and he's going, he just shot my brother, he shot my brother.
911!
I went to jump from behind the drums to run out and help. And John, Dom's guitar tech, tackled me and held me on the ground.
As soon as I knew he was pointing the other way, we both ran across the drum riser and got to the other side of the stage.
It kept going on, and he picked me up and shoved me and said, run, man.
Go! 911, what's your emergency?
This is Alrosa. We have a shooting.
911
emergency.
Alrosa Bar, please. We need help as soon as possible.
Oh, my God.
911.
They came in with a gun and started shooting people.
Oh, they're still shooting.
He's on stage right now. He's got a gun.
The guy's on stage with a gun?
My cell phone rang. It's Vinnie Paul. And he goes, dude, I just saw my brother get shot in the back of the head 5 times. And I go, are you kidding, Vince? I go, what are you talking about?
People were trying to rush the guy, and he shot a couple of people to keep him away. The whole time he was looking for Vince.
After rushing to the aid of the mortally wounded Dimebag Darrell, drum tech Cat Brooks tried to subdue the gunman.
I went after the dude. I said, you.
Cat was fighting with him, and he kept telling Cat to settle down, and he wouldn't.
And kept shooting me. And just kept telling me, stay down, stay down. And I'm looking out in the audience, I'm like, dude, somebody help me out here.
I thought he's killing my friend right in front of my face, you know, and I just screaming no, you know, but there was nothing I could do.
I can't really see what's going on. I'm just, you know, I'm like, quit shooting, quit, stop, please, stop shooting. You're killing all my friends, stop it. And he goes, shut up, bitch.
I looked over my shoulder, and I heard the chaos, and I look, and there was an officer coming through the door.
And immediately I saw someone laying there that was bleeding. There was a small group of security guards standing there saying, he's there, he's there.
Columbus policeman James Niggemeyer was the first of 8 officers to arrive at the scene, just 3 minutes after receiving the dispatch call at 10:18 p.m.
I motioned for the officer over there, and I said, yeah, you You gotta kill this guy. He's gonna kill more people. He's got my friend.
As I started working across the back of the stage, he then moved the gun to the hostage's head. And as soon as he put the gun to the hostage's head, I realized that I had to do something to try to save the hostage.
And then just all at once, he just took aim and he just leaned back real slow.
I watched him click the safety with his finger, and when he clicked the safety, I just plugged my ears and turned my head.
I stopped and pulled the trigger.
It was just like a cannon blast.
All of a sudden, the weight was off me, and I was like, somebody got him.
And it was over. It was over just like that.
I looked up, and he was down. The cat was moving, and at that point, I ran to the floor where they had Dime on the floor.
And Vinnie kept calling me, and he still didn't know nothing. And then when he called me back and said, my brother's dead, and that's all he could say. And we both just cried.
It was like a real bad movie. None of it seemed real whatsoever. None of it. None of it. And that was that, man.
In the end, 5 were dead, including Dimebag Darrell. Cat Brooks suffered gunshot wounds to the chest, arm, and leg, but was released from the hospital within 3 days of the shooting. Gale's motive for killing remains unclear, but investigators believe he was despondent over the breakup of Pantera. The brutal onstage murder of 38-year-old guitarist Dimebag Darrell Abbott in December of 2004 sent shockwaves reverberating among everyone who knew him or were touched by his music.
Nothing like this has ever happened. Lennon, maybe. But Lennon wasn't shot and killed on stage. I mean, Dime was murdered on stage. It's just shocking.
I mean, I lost everything that night, you know. I just feel like somebody took a hacksaw and cut me right down the middle, took my right arm, my right leg, and my whole heart.
I would love it if 2 minutes from now he walked through that door. I still feel like he's going to. He did not deserve this.
Yet Dimebag's memorial service was anything but somber. It was the ultimate rock and roll send-off, right down to the Kiss casket in which the fallen guitarist was buried.
There's all these rock stars coming in. It just looks like Headbangers Ball. There's Eddie Van Halen up there talking at the funeral service. He puts his guitar in the casket with Darrell. It's the guitar off of Van Halen 2. You know, the black one with the yellow stripe. I mean, it's the guitar. And all I can think is that, you know, back in the early days when we're teenagers, if someone would have said, Darrell, when you die, Van Halen's going to put that guitar in the casket with you, Jerry would have said, kill me now.
Dime was in his Kiss coffin, and everyone's putting like bottles of Crown in there for him. There must have been about like 15 bottles of Crown Royal, and I go, you think this is going to be enough for the trip upstairs?
It was amazing, but, you know, it's like I told Rita and my dad, you know, after all this is over, we're going to be 3 of the most lonely people in the world.
A prodigious roster of hard rock royalty gathered in Arlington, Texas to remember Dimebag Darrell Abbott. But one prominent musician was conspicuously absent.
And I'd flown to Texas to be there and bury my brother. And I sat in a hotel room for 5 days, waiting, sending message after message to Vinnie, Paul, and anybody else who would even care to hear.
They stuck the phone in my face and said, Phil's on the phone, and if you don't take the phone, he's going to show up. I got on the phone, and I instantly just said, why are you calling now? And of course, I started to cry. Why didn't you return the 9 phone calls when Daryl called you? I go, if you show up here, I'll blow your head off myself. And I hung up on him.
And I wasn't allowed to go to the funeral.
In the aftermath of his brother's death, Vinnie Paul Abbott has overseen Daryl's recorded legacy and started his own label, Big Vin Records.
I love playing music and I want to do it again, but right now I want to see what it's like being on the other side of the coin. If I come across the right situation or the right people, then I'll be back.
Philip Anselmo, who says he kicked heroin in 2002 and underwent back surgery in 2005, continues to focus on myriad musical projects.
You ready? I adore what I do. I live for what I do, and I'm still damn doing it. Yes, I've had to have probably the most major back surgery in the history of back surgery, man. You know, don't underestimate the kid. You're crazy if you do, and I am the kid.
But to this day, the bad blood between Philip and the Abbott clan continues to boil over.
I want him to live a real long, hard life in the shadow of Dime now, because he'll always be in his shadow, and that was the thing he seemed to fear the most of. Well, karma gets you, I guess.
Months after Dime's murder, Anselmo said he received a heated message from Vinnie Paul.
And the conversation went something to the effect that my day's coming. And my rebuttal is, Vince, all of our day is coming, bro. And if my day happens to end earlier than your day, does that change anything? Will that change anything, or will you lose another brother? I'll be honest with you right now, I need Vinnie Paul real bad. I need him in my life, and whether he knows it or not, he needs me as well.
But the one thing everyone can agree on is the everlasting impact of Daryl Abbott's music and spirit.
He's just up at God's Tavern, you know, making cocktails for everybody, hanging out with Randy Rhoads and John Bonham and Jimi Hendrix and Janis Joplin, everybody.
Daryl Lance Abbott. In this house, will be revered and will be loved and celebrated forever. You know? Period.
Everybody wanted Dom Tom. Now I got to have the most. So I feel fortunate.
He would take me in his arms. Dad, I love you. Yes, I love that. Sorry. That's what I remember the best. Underneath all that hard rock and roll exterior was a little boy.